Imagine that you could silence your mind and hear the truth. Imagine that you could connect with your true self. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, that's exactly what a Zen master taught his disciples in this story. This Zen story that will show you how to master the power of silence and how to listen to the whispers of nature, yourself, and the universe. This story is called The Whispers of Silence, and it is a story that will change your life. Stay tuned and listen to this amazing story. There once lived a Zen master who was renowned for his ability to communicate with nature. He could understand the language of the rustling leaves, the murmuring streams, and the whispering wind. He could sense the subtle vibrations of the earth, the fire, and the sky. He could harmonize his mind and body with the neutral elements and achieve a state of perfect balance and peace. Many people came to learn from him, seeking his wisdom and guidance. Among them were a group of disciples who were especially eager to master the art of silence. They had heard that silence was the source of all power, and that by cultivating silence, they could attain enlightenment and liberation. One day, they approached the master and asked him to teach them how to master the power of silence. The Zen master smiled and agreed to show them the way. He led them to a secluded grove of ancient trees, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. "Listen to the wind," the master instructed. "Can you hear its whispers?" The disciples trained their ears, but all they heard was the gentle rustling of leaves. They looked at each other, puzzled and disappointed. They expected to hear something more profound, something more meaningful, something more powerful. The master smiled patiently and said, "The wind speaks in silence. To hear its wisdom, you must quiet your own thoughts." The disciples closed their eyes and focused on the sound of the wind. They tried to silence their minds, but they found it difficult. They were distracted by their doubts, their fears, their desires, their memories, their plans, their judgments. They were restless and agitated, unable to calm their inner turmoil. The Zen master observed them and said, "The wind is not the only thing that whispers. Your thoughts also whisper, but they are louder and more persistent. They drown out of the wind's whispers and prevent you from hearing the truth. To hear the wind, you must first silence your thoughts." The disciples nodded and tried again. They practiced mindfulness, observing their thoughts and emotions without attachment. They learned to recognize the patterns and habits of their minds and to let go of them. They learned to breathe deeply and relax their bodies and to release their tensions and stresses. They learned to be present and aware and to appreciate the beauty and wonder of the moment. Gradually, their minds grew quieter and they began to perceive subtle nuances. The interplay of different frequencies, the rhythm of the breeze. They realized that the wind's whispers were not merely sounds but expressions of a deeper intelligence, a harmonious flow of energy. They realized that the wind was not separate from them, but part of them, and they were part of the wind. They opened their eyes and looked at the Zen master, who smiled and nodded. He said, "You have heard the wind's whispers. You have heard the voice of silence. You have heard the voice of your true self. You have heard the voice of the universe. You have heard the voice of the Buddha." The disciples were amazed and overjoyed. They felt a surge of bliss and gratitude, a sense of connection and belonging. a vision of clarity and insight. They bowed to the master and thanked him for his teaching. The Zen master said, "You are welcome, my children. You have done well. You have discovered the power of silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. Silence is not the emptiness of space, but the fullness of spirit. Silence is not the weakness of the mind, but the strength of the heart. Silence is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of the path." From that day forward, the disciples carried the wind's wisdom within them, navigating life's changes with a newfound sense of attunement and serenity. They learned that true power lies not in force or noise, but in the quietude of deep listening, the ability to hear the whisper of silence. I hope you enjoyed this story and learned something from it. The moral of this story is that silence is a powerful and precious gift that we often neglect or ignore. In our busy and noisy world, we are constantly bombarded by sounds and distractions that prevent us from listening to our inner voice and to the voice of nature and the universe. We are often too caught up in our thoughts and emotions, and we forgot to be present and aware of the moment. We miss the opportunity to connect with ourselves and with others, to experience the beauty and wonder of life. So the next time you feel angry or resentful, or you are faced with a challenge or a problem, try to listen to the wind and to the silence. You might be surprised by what you hear and by what you learn. You might discover a new perspective, a new solution, or a new direction. You might discover a new power, a new joy, or a new purpose. You might discover a new you. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Zen motivational stories. Until next time, may you be happy and peaceful.